This rhythm. Monk on the beat. Monk on the beat.
What is up, YouTube? My Cowboys family here, bringing you guys the latest update on our very own Dallas Cowboys. And of course, as always, thank you so much for joining us here tonight. Take a second, hit like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, follow us anywhere and everywhere at My Cowboys Family, and of course, hop in the Discord. Link for that's in the description box down below. And as we get rolling here tonight, guys, for our free Thanksgiving live stream, again, a super short turnaround after our victorious Sunday.
Yeah, Victory Monday and celebrating all that good stuff. You know, some people just want us to take the L so we can get closer to a higher draft pick. Either way, we beat the Washington Commanders. We're going to go over some real quick things from that game and taking it into the New York Giants game tomorrow at 4:30 p.m. Eastern time, right around the table of Thanksgiving, guys. This is your Thanksgiving pre-Thanksgiving game and pre-Thanksgiving stream. Although here in the East Coast, it is officially Thanksgiving. So happy Thanksgiving to all. And hopefully we see a lot of crying Giants tomorrow in Big D. Now, let's also, you see some key players in the mix, and a lot of sad Giant fans. You see some sad coaches on that screen as well. But we got some good players on defense. We got some stellar players on special teams. And a whole litany of backups and basically undrafted and how do we show this training camp preseason style offense. That's all we got right now. On that note, we're going to talk about that and more. But first, let's talk about the people representing the boards here with us for this week, and none other than the man who's taken over not one, not two, but 3 straight weeks in a row. The one and only John Luna.
Thank you so much, Mr. Luna. Not just the sponsor of the week, he's also the membership gifting champion 3 weeks in a row.
3 peats on both those boards. Big shout out. And is also the stream boss.
That's right. You see him up there with those 78. Is that
78. Terrence Steele style for John Luna up there in the green still holding it down. Now, he's a Houston Texan fan, so we get it. Do we try to get a Cowboy fan representing here for the game tomorrow? We'll see what happens. But he was there at the end of the last game, and we took the W on that one. Also, don't forget, last week we had Cash App Queen Pat Pfeiffer. She's not the Cash App Queen this week, but we have another Cash App Queen, and it's Mary Alvarez. Much love to her, repping that crowd this week, this Thanksgiving week. And we'll see, because right now, guys, when it comes to leaders, there is no leader in the Cash App side. There is no leader on the gifting membership board, but there is a drop. Actually, let me rephrase that. There is no gifting leader right now, and there's no Cash App leader.
Okay.
But the overall board, you can see his name right there. The man staying skeptical. Skeptical fan. Yeah, a little after the game ended, a new week started. He dropped a $2 holler in the thanks portion of our channel, and he said we accidentally won. A
Yeah,
bunch of laughing emojis.
that's
Much love to
definitely the best way of explaining that
you
one.
gotta keep it skeptical. And yes, it was a crazy. I'm still watching the highlights of that game just because it's so crazy. Not because it's a special season for the Cowboys. It isn't, but it's a special game for sure. In the sense of like excitement towards the last. It was an insane last 3 minutes of that game. Anyways, we'll touch on that real quick and touch on the Giants real quick as we get ready to have some giant things, giant turkey tomorrow. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of ways to support the channel and help out and get on the boards and
That's
win
right.
chances to win jerseys and prizes and things like that. A little giving back to this channel. We've been doing this for 7.5, almost 8 years. But before we shout out everybody in the house, let me shout out the ways of dropping the love on YouTube. Of course, the super chat at the bottom right of your screen there in the chat area. You can drop super chats. They flash on the screen, and we read your comments and your questions, and we get into it. Stop what we're doing, and we get into that right away. Of course, there's the thanks button, which I just said skeptical fan just used after the game. We also have memberships and people jumping into them. Now, right now, this week, no memberships right now. So no, that's why we don't have anybody on the board in that way. And of course, if you're in the membership, you can gift memberships to random people. It randomly does it, but you help the channel, you help people get a trial run. And if you haven't tried it yet, and refresh your screens if you haven't, the giant emojis, the new giant emojis are in the house. So that's what's on a lot of the perks and all the membership levels, navy blue, silver star, and over everything. That's a YouTube side. Maybe there's 4 of the ways of dropping the love. It's kind of the after dark style of things. You know what I mean?
You have, of course, the Cash App, money sign, My Cowboys Family, the Venmo at My-Cowboys-Family, the regular PayPal link, and last but certainly not least, the Streamlabs link lets your comment show up on screen like a
Yep.
super chat would.
PayPal also has another link in there. It's kind of like paypal.me/MCF2017. That's like the PayPal direct link. So in case you don't know, you need to know, let us know. We will try to get that to you. But anyways, that's the other ways you can help out the channel on that side of things. I also want to do the nightly shout outs when it comes to those that rep on the big board. And that's the top shelf memberships, the star level, over everything level memberships. So just a quick shout out here to those in this right now. Actually, over everything is empty for now. But we have the Lunatic, Jet Li 44, and John Luna representing on the star level. Big shout out to them. And those are the 3 names you're going to see for right now, heading into the month of December. Maybe sporting up on the monthly jersey raffle. But yeah, those guys and others are also in this monthly jersey raffle, which we'll do sometime in the beginning of December for the month of November. Weekly winners, not just star level, they get 1 membership. Over everything gets 2 member. I'm sorry, star level gets 1 raffle entry, 2 raffle entries for any over everything members. But if you're a weekly winner, any of the 4 times in a month, you will be also thrown in. You don't have to be part of the membership. You don't have to be even a fan. You can just jump in here. You happen to win for that week as a sponsor of the week. You will be put into the raffle with the rest of the crew here. And if you already are in this raffle, like John Luna, who's a big champion 3 weeks in a row, he's got 3. I think it's 2, actually. I think we used 1 last time, but he has at least 2 possible bonus entries to his star level entry. So you could just up your chances to win one of these. And what is the prize? Sewn and stitched jersey. Any team, any team and any sport of the 4 major sports, and again, any player that's available and any style that's available. So keep that in mind. Sewn and stitched, authentic like. It takes about 2 months to get to you guys, but we'll get it to you all. And appreciate everybody who's won in the past and been in the memberships of these higher level memberships. Thank you guys to those that have participated in all these things. And of course, extra special thanks and congrats to those that have won these raffles every month that we have them going on. Always somebody else winning them. Usually, but you can still. Some people, if you're in a star level, you might repeat it too. I think Jet Li won like 3 months in a row. It's all random. So, anyways, on that note, there's some shout outs to do. I'm assuming, right? I mean, I could. We can do our silver level shout outs tomorrow during the game. Since it is the fans, that's going to be our Fan Friday. So, baby, let's hit up the chat real quick and do the quick shout outs before we get to the news, info, and updates
Of course.
that this channel is about.
Shout out to the man, Dustin Roberts. What's up with you? Of course, representing their Sea Bass.
Yeah.
And aw, congratulations. But yes, that is definitely an emotional moment, putting your baby in school, registering them for school the first time.
I remember that. Now my child's about to go to college.
I know.
It's crazy.
Time flies.
Flying
So,
right by.
isn't it kind of weird to think that NFL players are going to be your kids' age in about
It's already been happening.
a year or two?
We saw some of the Olympics, some of the Olympic
True.
kids in there. They're younger
I
than my
know.
daughter. They're like younger than her. So 16 and my daughter's 17. What the hell's going on? She's about the 18. It's crazy.
Oh, Rolando Rodriguez, much love to you, all the way from South Texas. Yeah, little
Yeah.
Dallas Cowboy representing. I'm sure you're in rush mode, rush hour.
He loves his Cooper Rush.
Daniel Berry Sports Highlights. Shout out
Yeah.
to you as well.
Another DB in the place.
Spoony Dog, much love.
Spoonie.
What's up, Larry?
Larry.
Formerly known as Mr. Right.
Yeah, Mr. Right.
Shout out to
Never
you, of
wrong.
course. We have Freedom First. Hey, you were first. Way to go, Freedom First.
I saw some After Dark eyeballs in there too. I think.
Oh yeah, who's MCF After Dark and
Mm.
After Dark too?
You guys gotta check it out to see. By the way, oh, not there. I want to show you this real quick. That's my daughter right there, right next on my chest. It's crazy. Like she's like a whole full grown woman.
I know.
It's insane to me. That shows you how long we've been doing this thing here at My Cowboys Family, and it's family for that exact reason. It's
That's what
our
it's about,
family here,
especially
and we're repping that stuff.
with Thanksgiving. Very
Yep.
thankful for not just our family, friends, loved ones, and all that, but thankful for you guys here in
Yes.
this
You
wonderful
guys,
little corner of the
we've
cowboy
had
world that we
we've
have
had
here.
we've had 8 Thanksgivings. This is gonna be our 8th Thanksgiving here on YouTube with you guys, with the family here, My Cowboys family. So yes, we have our own Thanksgiving with our families, but we have another Thanksgiving with My Cowboys family. That's for you guys. So big shout outs to you guys in the house. Now let me stop babbling. Is that everybody in the house?
That is everyone.
Let's
Shout out
let's
some people as they trickle in. Of
yeah. As
course.
everyone comes in, we'll keep shouting out. And again, I wanted to make sure we say one last thing. I always forget to do this, but there's always that's a way you get into this raffle at the end of the month. It's one last way you can get into this, and
That's
it's something
right.
new that YouTube added to our channel, and that is that little bullseye. It's a goal, right? We set 10 goals basically. You have to get a $5 holler, which is teal or higher. If everybody together gets 5 or higher in the super chats, and we get 10 of them, all the people that dropped love in there, that towards that goal.
Contribute towards that
If you
goal.
drop $2, you ain't getting to that goal. But if you drop 5 or more, you are put into a raffle. As you can see, it's pinned above. You get put into that raffle, and then we have a raffle. We raffle that everybody who was had been in a winning
towards the goal.
to the winning goal, right? Over the last kind of three times, I think we have 3-4 winning goals. So if you hit the winning goal, you get thrown into the mix, and then the winner of that group of people, that raffle we do, gets put into this one on your screen. So there's one extra bonus spot you get in if you're one of the lucky people that are pulled out of that goal raffle, which we will do again, probably a day or two before we do the actual monthly jersey raffle. So we'll do all the targets hit, all the goals hit for the month. We'll do all the names. We'll pick a name out of there, and then there'll be that winner we put into this raffle to be able to win. That's so you get a chance to get into the raffle. Basically, if we hit the goal and you contributed to that goal. Anyways, there's that. It started already, and that goal will be over by the time the stream ends. So if you guys get in time, great. If not, maybe tomorrow we'll hit the goal. It'll be 20 of those though instead of 10. Now, really quickly, guys, former guy we just released last week, defensive edge rusher KJ Henry. We got him off the Bengals roster, the practice squad. He practiced with us a couple of weeks, never got in a game. And we had cut him, released him last week before the Washington game. Well, he was picked up by the Philadelphia Eagles on their practice squad. Eagles, of course, yeah. So he was a 5th-round pick of the Commanders last season. Let go by the Cowboys just the other day, then cleared waivers. No one picked them up. Philly added depth to losing Brandon Graham, that torn tricep for the year. Big loss for them, so they added some depth on their practice squad.
Passed around like the NFC East.
I'm telling you. So yeah, KJ Henry, not a big loss for us, and not a big gain for the Eagles. He's just a practice squad replacement because the practice squad guy that was there now has moved up to the Eagles 53-man roster to replace Brandon Graham. So yeah, basically he's just replacing the practice squad guy, but a former Cowboy literally of this season. Now another guy that we know that we almost were going to see this week. We're going to see Dak and Daniel Jones, 2 overpaid quarterbacks. Well, we're not going to see either guy, of course. We're going to see 2 backups that are, maybe overpaid too. I don't know. But the point is here, and we don't even know who the Giants quarterback's going to be. I'll tell you in a minute. But when it comes to Daniel Jones, we know that he was released last time we spoke about it. He was released by the Giants. He had the red shirt on. He was a 4th stringer. And then they released him, let him go, find a team. He cleared waivers. No one picked him up. Still no one has picked him up. But because Gardner Minshew is out for the Raiders just this past week, he's out for the year. A high-ranking league official said that there is an impression that quarterback Daniel Jones has zeroed in on a, quote, leading choice. We don't know what it is yet. He has not signed. And another high-ranking league source said that the understanding is that Daniel Jones is going to tell everyone tomorrow. who he's going to sign with. I don't think he released that information yet today. But either way, guys, the Raiders are interested in a quarterback. That's the word. Following the injury to Gardner Minshew, and he's
Sounds
out for
like
the
Daniel
year.
Jones is interested in being employed again. So.
Sounds like he's zeroing on the Vegas Raiders, but he will announce it supposedly tomorrow, Thanksgiving, I guess. I don't know. Now, one last thing, Cowboy style wise, here are a couple little awards or shout outs. Pro Bowl. I know nobody gives a fuck about a Pro Bowl, but guess what? This year, and I don't give a damn about it either. We're going to be an hour away from it. We can drive to and check it out. We always kind of check out the practices, but the thing is, this year there's no Super Bowl for the Cowboys, so get as many Cowboys in there if you want. What the fuck? Why not? We'll get to see them. We'll get to talk to them.
Be surprised if we have even 3.
Well,
because
there's a whole bunch. There's a Turpin out there. There's an Aubrey out there. There's a guy named Micah Parsons and CeeDee Lamb. That's 4. I'm guaranteeing you 4. And just by name recognition, you got Zach Martin possible. You got other name recognition guys that could get thrown into the mix there. But we'll have to wait and see. We'll see kind of who made the big jumps and who didn't. Trayvon Diggs, will he get voted in just on name recognition? So Bland, he hasn't played shit, but yet I don't think he's even available to be voted on. Bland. So you guys feel me? There's a lot of things in motion here, but not who really cares, and they care because they get incentives tied to Pro Bowls. But my thing is, the only reason I care this year because we know the Cowboys will be out of the playoffs. And we also know that we will be able to see these Cowboy players practicing and maybe, just talk some shit in the sense of, talk with them, shoot the shit with them, and maybe ask them, how are we going to get better? I would like to do that in person right here in MCF with those guys. But we'll see what happens. Vote him in. Why not? Now, Dak Prescott, who, of course, will not be at the Pro Bowl unless he's a coach or some kind of honorary something, captain or some shit. But Dak Prescott, of course, out for the year. But he was nominated by the Cowboys for the 11th annual Art Rooney Sportsmanship Award. Each NFL team nominates a player for this award, which recognizes individuals around the NFL who exemplify, quote, outstanding sportsmanship. So congrats to Dak on that. He's always been great with the sportsmanship thing. And then let me just roll over to our special teams specialist, Devontae Turpin. Turpin, guys, he was named the NFC Special Teams Player of the Week after that incredible kickoff return that B button, circle button, whatever control you have. That spin move is coming.
That was so good
That was
to watch.
The best return I think I've seen in a long ass time. But Devontae Turpin, it's funny. We had 50 games we didn't have a kickoff return. We had 2 in this game, one by Turpin and one by Wanye Thomas at the end there on the onside kick. Incredible. Also 2 block kicks, a block punt. I'm sure there's other things I missed. So crazy numbers for this game. But anyway, Devontae Turpin named Special Teams Player in the NFC of the week. After that return for the touchdown against Washington, he's the NFL leader in yards per kickoff return through week 12 at 36.3 yards. So Devontae Turpin, guys, this is what I'm trying to say. I know it took 3 years. But finally, maybe this new kickoff rule is helping a lot. Because after 3 years of Turpin doing kickoffs and just taking a knee on kickoffs, basically, or kicking the ball out of bounds, which we rarely had returns available the last 2 years. This year, on not punt returns, but kickoff returns, he's the NFL leader. Over 36 and a third, 36.3 yards per return. So every time that man catches that ball, you're averaging 36 plus yards on the return. That's a great start for the offense. Maybe that's why we got a little bit. Cooper Rush gets 2 first downs. With our other special teams player, we get 3 points possibly with Aubrey, except this game. We got a miss, a block, but pulled it out anyways. Anyways, the point is Turpin, it's Turpin time. And I think we need more of him on offense. But we talk about special teams player of the week, and he won that in the NFC. And just so you guys know, when you look at our schedule, right? I know we're going to talk about the Giants upcoming game and Thanksgiving tomorrow. And we're, of course, going to, kind of recap the Washington win. One of our few, that W stands for win, I guess, for the Cowboys.
I hate to interrupt you, baby. Thank you very much, Rolando Rodriguez. You are right.
Daniel Jones
ended up signing with the Vikings.
Oh, I did not know that. Shit. Well, thank you. See, on
apparently
the spot.
The reasons for it, he said that he wanted to spend the rest of this season with a playoff contender, so
not
Raiders,
the Giants.
around a head coach that the words used was nurturing. So it looks like he's specifically looking to obviously help grow and continue to grow and learn as a quarterback.
Yes.
And I guess he wants a coach that might be open and willing to doing that.
So again, Raiders out. Like I said, I just thought that was kind of. They wasn't saying that he was going to go there. But it just said that because the Raiders are definitely looking for a quarterback. Yeah. But the Vikings also, they're trying to stay in the running. They want to make sure they got somebody in there. So yeah, it looks like they're going to go roll the dice on Danny Dimes, who's trash in my opinion. But a lot of people want him in Dallas for this game to get thrown in the mix. But after the Cowboys beat
You know
Washington,
what's
that
funny?
ain't happening.
One of the few times I actually understand why a move happened the way it did. I
There
actually
you
think
go.
this makes a lot of sense for Minnesota. Again, we don't know what it's going to look like, but they're not getting married to Daniel Jones, but they have the potential to maybe make it all the way this year, depending on how things go.
Yeah, they'll be in the running. They'll be in the playoffs. And Daniel Jones at least had a team that is in contention. It kind of reminds me of Jerry
That's
Jones's
what I'm
mindset.
saying. The team is strong enough that
Yeah.
it makes sense why they
And
brought him in.
another big deal here is that with the quarterback that they have right now for this year, I know they got a rookie for the future, but the fact that they have, Darnold or whoever's in there right now, you know, he's Daniel Jones might be as good as this guy. So the point is that why not, a place where he might get a chance to actually sneak in and start if things go a little bit wrong for their quarterback. He has the best chance not to just play, but also be with a contender. So it's a combination of both those things. Good. Thank you for the update, Rolando. That's why we got you guys in the house updating my ass on shit too.
Yeah,
But
we're so focused on what's going on with the Cowboys.
yeah, and we're gonna refocus because that W right there for Washington stands for win by the Cowboys. So just wanted, but we're gonna recap that in a minute. We're gonna talk about the Giants right at the end of this thing. But let's quickly look at the Monday night game against the Bengals on December 9th. Just for a quick second, the early odds are out for that Week 14 game against the Bengals at AT&T Stadium, Monday Night Football. The game is still 12 days from now. So keep that in mind. Obviously, the line's going to change. But that being said, currently at home against the Bengals, Cincinnati at Dallas, Dallas is a 6.5-point underdog.
Ouch.
So we're supposed to lose by basically a touchdown at home against the Bengals. And you know what? That'd be 0-6 for us at home. Well, actually, no. It depends what happens to the Giants this week. Can we beat the Giants and get our first home win? Come on. If we do, at least we'll be 1-6 if we lose to the Bengals. I don't know. If we win this game and the Bengals have some issue, tides turn. But either way, do we want to keep winning? Do we really want to keep winning?
I think that regardless
not get in the
of
playoffs?
whatever happens, we would all like to see at least one win at home. I'm just being
Yeah,
real.
I agree.
That's just me.
And I'm gonna be look
I
at the
know,
schedule.
yeah,
Look at
I
the
know,
schedule.
tank the tank.
I'm gonna talk about that in a
But-
minute, but about the draft. But take a look at the 4 home games we got left: Giants, which is the easiest one of the group; the Bengals, the Buccaneers, and the Commanders. Not saying we can't win all 4 of them, but we can also lose all 4.
Honestly, one of those
We gotta,
4 is a little bit easier.
and that's the one we got literally today here in the East Coast, now in the Central Time Zone. So yeah, the Giants. That's gonna be our only chance, our best chance to win at home this year. But that Bengal game, they got us as 6.5-point underdogs. We'll talk about that more when that time comes. Now, let's get to the game because, as you guys know, NFC East through Week 12, and some people are getting, we're gonna have a chance. We win the Giant game and we win the Cincinnati game, Carolina. We're 7-7. Hey, guys, number one, we still probably won't make the playoffs, and if we do, we get knocked out the first round. Do you really want to get the 20th pick again? 21st, 22nd. I'm telling you, there's no way we're going to get far anywhere. I don't care how good we look against shitty team. I don't care if we win a couple games. This is over for the Cowboys this year. Offense is basically third stringers, from the offensive line to the receivers. And then you look at, the defense, very good, solid. Even with the injuries, we got more guys coming. But again, this is not a team that's built to last in a playoff run in any way. It is a team built for a top 10 pick. Now maybe top 15 pick. We'll see what happens. But here's the deal, guys. Eagles now, because we helped them out, the Eagles are 9-2, Washington at 7-5. 2.5 games back on the Eagles. If the Eagles win their game, when the Washington Commanders have their bye, they'll be 3 games up on Washington. So the Eagles basically gifted the division because of us. We are basically 2.5 games back on Washington with the tiebreaker at 4-7. And we are also 2 full games up on the Giants and tiebreaker. They're 2-9, battling for the first pick in the draft. Now, I just want to reiterate, we beat the Commanders, as you know. It's not showing on the screen because we're moving on. We beat Commanders 34-26 in Week 12 to improve to that 4-7 record before Sunday's game. Just so an idea, you guys, you understand how long it's been since we've won. And just this win on Sunday, November 24th. Listen to this. Before we won this game, the last time the Cowboys won, the NBA season was still 2 weeks away.
Oh.
Yeah. The clock's falling back and fall back an hour, right? It was still a month away. So was the presidential election, may I add. Last time the Cowboys won a game. The Dodgers, the Padres, Phillies, Mets, Yankees, Royals, the Guardians, and Tigers were all still alive in the Major League Baseball playoffs, MLB playoffs. Oh yeah, Russell Wilson had not yet started a game for the Steelers at this point.
For some reason, that's the statement that shocks me the most. Why?
Well, hold on. Robert Saleh was also still employed by the Jets.
Okay, that one's making sense.
I'm just saying that's the last time the Cowboys won a game this year. The Cowboys have won 3 games in a row against those Washington what the fucks in that franchise. 3 games in a row. This is the 12th winning streak of at least 3 games the Cowboys have had against Washington all time. Just so you guys know, for Washington's side, they've only had a winning streak of at least 3 games against the Cowboys in their history 2 times. So fuck Washington.
Makes me laugh just because I know I mentioned this comment to you, and I can't take credit for it. Someone else said it. I just thought it was very funny. Where someone said, "Man, I thought the football gods like hated Dallas," and someone said, "Yeah, they do, but they hate Washington more." So there you go.
Depends on the day, but yes. You know, I will say this: when you look at the record, and I think the Joneses spoke after the game, but I want to say this: the Cowboys, of course, 4-7. And just so you guys know about the playoffs and the playoffs, how things work in the playoffs, throughout all of NFL history, only a total of 8 teams in history have made the playoffs after a 4-7 start. Only 8 teams. But the last 5 to do it did it by winning in a below average division, which ours is not anymore, not this year. So again, 5 out of those 8 made it in a shitty division. The other 3 made it as a wild card. But for us to make it be wild card and for us to make it, it would take a literal miracle. And even then, we'll get bounced in the first round. But again, it also the teams that have come back from a 4-7 record have done it 2 times out of those 8 teams that did it in history. And the 5 out of those 8 did it in a shitty division. But the last 2 years it happened, it was during the 17-game regular season. So 17 games gives you a chance, of course, to come back from a 4-7 record. Then a much better chance now with 17 games than we did with 16 games, obviously, percentage-wise. But more importantly, let's look at the draft situation. A lot of people are like, well, we just screwed ourselves. Guys, right now, Jaguars and the Giants, along with the Raiders, are all 2-9. They're fighting right now. It's Jaguars, the Giants, and Raiders in the top 3 picks. Then the Patriots are 3-9. The Panthers, the Titans, the Jets, and the Browns are all 3-8, which is where we would have been. And then the Saints, the Bengals, Cowboys, and Bears are all 4-7. We are right now the 11th or 12th team right now to draft. We're basically we could have been maybe the 7th or 8th seed if we had lost. Now we're like the 11th, 12th seed because we won. Now, a long time to go still, guys. So a lot of things can change. We could get up in the top 15. If we get in the playoffs, we'll win top 20.
Yeah.
If we don't do that, if we blow a lot of these games here at the end, we will be a top 10 picking team. And if some of these shitty teams can win, like I just mentioned, we can get a couple wins here and there, and can we get closer to top 7, top 5 pick? I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. Either way, tanking, obviously the Cowboys I never want the Cowboys to tank. But if we lose because we have everybody injured, if we lose because we have a shitty team, and get us the highest pick, naturally it's a natural tanking. But we beat Washington in a kind of a surprise to most people. And Jerry Jones, not surprised. Because he spoke after the game, and Stephen Jones spoke after the game this week, and they had some things to say about the plan going forward, tanking, losing games, and maybe what's the deal with the head coach possibilities. I don't know, but
so Stephen Jones first said, So we'll start off with Stephen because he first said that he had no mixed emotions watching the Cowboys win, saying, "Oh, absolutely not. We've been very upfront that we want to win football games."
So,
right
guys,
now.
again, the point is they want to be competitive so they can get people to pay money to go to the games. But what he's trying to say is when he said, are you guys kind of mixed feelings because you kind of want to have a higher draft pick? He's like, hell no, we don't have any mixed feelings.
Yep.
We want to win. Just be competitive this year to get more money this year, and next year we'll get whatever draft pick we get.
He added in there, the most important thing right now is to play the people who give us the best chance to win the game. So
on offense, we have basically 4 stringers.
Yeah, not just that, but remember, go back to last week when I believe it was Jerry Jones, who basically really doubled down on the fact that Cooper Rush was like their main guy and that he was going to continue to be the main guy. And I'm pretty sure McCarthy and Steven kind of backed that up and echoed it. So I'm just saying, I think that plays into that comment.
Yeah, I just want to say, since you mentioned Cooper Rush, I don't know if anybody does mention him anymore, but since you mentioned Cooper Rush for this game against Washington, Listen to his numbers. Before this, he threw 55 times. This game, he threw 32 times, which is still too much. But 32 attempts with 24 completions, 75% completion percentage. He threw for 247 yards, 2 passing touchdowns, 1 rushing attempt for 1 rushing yard. But Cooper Rush with a 75% completion percentage and threw for over 240 yards with 2 passing touchdowns. The last time a quarterback did that and met these 3 thresholds was Dak Prescott,
Oh.
obviously. And it was against Washington in the final game of last season. So it was pretty recent. But also, it was the 4th such win of this kind with a quarterback other than Dak in the McCarthy era. Because Andy Dalton was the quarterback for all 3 of those 2020 games when,
That's right, I remember.
Yeah. So, again, outside of, it was Andy Dalton, Dak Prescott, Cooper Rush in the McCarthy era. Just wanted to clarify that. So Cooper Rush had a great game against Washington, and maybe that's what you're hearing Stephen Jones referring to a little
Yeah.
bit.
So, and again, we're rolling it back to the tanking aspect. Jerry
Mm-mm.
Jones had a lot of praise for Micah's comment because Micah was the player who even pregame and postgame very publicly said he does not give a fuck about the draft pick. He's like, we're gonna keep winning games, right?
Yeah,
So
he wants to play hard. That's all
Jerry
Michael
loved
wants.
that. Jerry said, love it, just absolutely love it. And
Hmm.
before I keep reading that comment there by Jerry Jones, thank you, Brandon Jane.
Brandon J in the house.
Shout out to you. I appreciate you. Much love. He said here with his $2 holler.
What did he say? Hey, by the way, he's now tied with Skeptical Fan in first place.
He's saying either the Vegas Raiders or the Giants for Shedeur Sanders.
Well, again, a lot of people want him with that first pick, or one of those top 3 picks. The Cowboys were mentioned in that.
I mean, if you ask me to pick right now, it seems like the Raiders are a little bit ahead of the Giants in that battle.
Well, both teams need quarterbacks.
Race for the bottom.
Whichever guy gets it will probably get Sanders or one of those quarterbacks out there.
Yeah, I figured Brandon was asking us, like, which team do we think is more likely to get him?
Yeah, it's a question mark.
I'm going to put my bets on Oakland. Or, sorry, Vegas.
Vegas. Not Oakland or L.A.
Hey.
They are now the Vegas Raiders, the Las Vegas Raiders. But I think the Giants are done. The Giants are done. They're not going to win another game this year. And you'll see what I mean when I talk about the Giants later on. But I think the Giants are going to get the first pick. I don't know about Sanders, but I think they'll be over I think have the pick over Washington. Like if the Jacksonville Jaguars get the first pick, they're not getting a quarterback. They got Trevor Lawrence, but whoever's that second, third pick, if it's between it's between the Raiders and the Giants. I think the Giants are going to edge them out, only because the Giants have really nothing left. I mean, the Raiders still have a little bit of pride left. The Giants got nothing. Thank you, Brandon. Appreciate the drop there. Actually, I'm going to fix it here on the screen to make sure it looks better. But any quick comments on? I don't know if you had some more comments actually about.
I remember I stopped my Jerry comment there.
So thank you, Brandon. Tied for first place. John Luna 76 points, but we did not hit the goal. Remember, it's got to be 5 or higher to hit the goal. Just a reminder. Okay, back to Jerry.
So he said this again. So love it. Just absolutely love it.
Michael's comments.
I just think the game is too important and the win is too important. A win is a very satisfying thing under any circumstance. It helps you build, and there's a lot of ambiguity with those draft picks.
So basically, he's feeling what I'm thinking. He's saying he knows we can probably get good draft picks without worrying about getting a high, winning.
It sounds like he'd rather have the win in the hand versus the draft picks in the bush.
Oof, he likes Bush too. Anyways,
but yeah, no, it just again, obviously. Most of us feel like that's the opposite of what Jerry would normally want, but then when you stop and think about it, it actually makes a lot of sense. You said this, baby. Both Joneses are heavily invested in trying to maybe rebrand this season to make people feel better.
It's going to be called "Stay Competitive." Stay competitive. If the Cowboys just stay competitive, they stay at 7-7, 7-8, something, and close up. That means people going to the game, people watching on TV, people buying jerseys, people buying memorabilia, people buying food at the concessions at the game. I'm just saying that's a lot of money, parking money, whatever it is. Jerry Jones, he's smiling to the bank because if we're 3-10, ain't a soul going to be in that. And these games will be empty and his money going to drop. But as long as the Cowboys stay kind of interesting, Jerry Jones is happy. That's all he wants. Remember that. Remember that. So yeah.
No, and then of course, what I feel like is the most controversial, let's say, comment to come out of this, because of course we're all feeling good after this win.
Well, we're feeling all right. Yeah,
I
we
mean,
got to
like,
win.
Jerry and Steven are on cloud 9, but then
Of course they are.
out of nowhere, Jerry says that he is not ruling out a contract extension for McCarthy.
What? McCarthy just said what?
Saying, quote, "I don't think that's crazy at all. This is a Super Bowl winning coach. McCarthy has been there and done that. He has great ideas, and we've got a lot of football left."
Jerry Jones literally just is teasing us with some McCarthy stuff. Is that all he said about McCarthy?
Yes.
Okay, because I'm going to say something real quick, and maybe you could say your thoughts on this. I would like to know what you think, and the chat as well. But I think this is Jerry Jones doing Jerry Jones things. Jerry Jones is trying to say this now because number one, same reason why he wants to stay competitive. Because he's like, hey, listen, there's a Super Bowl winning coach. We're not making the Super Bowl this year. I don't care who we have. I don't care if freaking Superman comes down here. Super Bowl winning coach. We got a game under our belt winning, right? Jerry Jones feeling like we can get more fans in the house now back in here because and maybe saying, hey, look, McCarthy's really doing a great job keeping this team in the running. And because of that, he may get an extension. If Jerry Jones gives Mike McCarthy an extension, I'll probably jump out the fucking Empire State Building. Because I'm telling you right now, there's no way in fucking hell Jerry Jones. I know he made the headlines. That's what Jerry Jones wants. He wants you to talk about this. We're talking about it, and we're gonna go right past it because it ain't gonna happen. There's nothing that Mike McCarthy can do. He's dead man walking. In my opinion, nothing he can do to save his job unless he goes to the playoffs and win the Super Bowl. It ain't happening. So Mike McCarthy, he's done in my opinion. I don't know where Jerry Jones pulls us out to get media attention and to give the fans hope, but it's false hope. What do you think about this, babe? What's your thoughts on Jerry Jones even saying something so stupid?
I mean,
he's backing his coach. His choice.
I don't necessarily disagree with him like backing the coach or whatever, but why even potentially sell the future farm in that sense? Like there's plenty of ways he could have expressed his support of McCarthy, not really touched on the future extension, just because I don't think that Mike McCarthy staying is going to get us the results that we want. I think we're going to easily and quickly find ourselves into that Jason Garrett trap, right?
Yeah, we're back. It feels like that trap again.
And
that's what he's trying to sell.
The thing that really confuses me is, okay, like let's say we are in some universe where we are going to bring back Mike McCarthy. Why are you forcing him to keep the coordinators and the rest of the coaching staff and everyone else that he has when clearly something is fucking up there on the coaching side and it needs to be addressed? Again, the fact that Mike Solari still has a job baffles me, blows my mind. We have not even been able to talk about the offensive line coach the way that we definitely probably should. And yet, Jerry's out here saying, yeah, let's bring back, Big Chungus, Big Mike.
Yeah, after he's done nothing, after we go 12-5, it's great, and then we lose, and he has us unprepared in playoffs.
Now,
unprepared against good teams in general.
One credit, I guess, you can give McCarthy during some of these trying times is that he has helped, steer the ship during troubled waters.
Yeah, especially doing, I will say, the one thing I'll say about McCarthy is he's been best when Dak's got hurt.
Yeah.
He's known how to use a Cooper Rush type quarterback to just finagle wins. You have to have a good defense. When you don't, you get killed. And you saw that happen when our defense was not there yet. But when our defense starts to get going, now you can see us win against average teams.
Yeah, the play calling itself is not exactly any more inspired, but the fact that McCarthy does use Cooper Rush more carefully and is more aware of how he uses our backup quarterbacks.
Yeah.
I wish he had this much thought and consideration with Dak.
Not even with Dak. It's not even with Dak for me. I wish he had this consideration with the offense. Like he'll do.
I said the play.
Right.
It's like the play calling.
The play calling hasn't changed. It hasn't changed. It's still the same shit. There's no separation for receivers. I mean, Cooper Rush is getting plays worked to his skill set, which is what McCarthy was either not allowed because of Jerry Jones, was not allowed to do, or did not do for some crazy reason. Dak Prescott a lot of the times. You saw him switch it over last year after that bye week. And all of a sudden, the whole offense was working as one. It's a whole change because he went to the skill set of the players. When he's forced to go to the skill set of Cooper Rush, where you can't outrun the same offense you have with Dak, with Cooper Rush. So you have to run it very careful. more heavy running, right? These are the things we've been asking about with Dak. When you don't have the talent out there, when you don't have Brandon Cooks out there for most of the season, when you're missing your offensive line, you're missing your tight ends. I'm just saying, like that. Instead, we're still going to run out there like we have an all-star team. That's what we did with Dak. With Cooper Rush, we took things back, and even though we struggled because we didn't have everything kind of in place yet, and I say specifically our defense, that's what really helped our offense, in my opinion. Guys, I watched this Washington game again. Do you know how many times Washington had the ball in that first half on our territory? I think out of 5 drives, they had them on the 45 or on the 49-yard or closer on our side. 4 out of 5 times, they scored 3 points. That's defense, and that helped the offense. Because if not, that's a blowout, and nothing the offense can do. That changes the entire game if they score. The defense is what makes the offense in our team right now better. Just gotta break it down that way. So
real quick, I wanted to touch on one or two
the
comments.
Jerry Jones McCarthy
Mr.
thing.
Seabass said agreed. McCarthy can walk, honestly.
Yes.
He's a decent coach, but I want more.
Right.
I want fire and tenacity, show some damn emotions, show some damn leadership, and not just look like a clipped balls pet under Gary.
Listen, here's the problem, though, my guy. And listen, we talk about this all the time, but here's the problem. Jerry Jones, every coach underneath him, except for Jimmy Johnson and Bill Parcells, and they had obviously issues with him. Jimmy Johnson quit after all the bullshit from Jerry after 5 years. And after 4 years, Bill Parcells did not take the 5th-year extension. He quit. Everybody else is a puppet for Jerry Jones, and you have to be nuts cut to be a coach for Jerry Jones. That's part of the prerequisite.
Yeah, Unix only.
Unless you're trying to sell AT&T Stadium to be built, which is why he got Parcells. Unless you're starting off in the NFL and you don't really know much, so you're bringing Jimmy Johnson from Miami Hurricanes to construct your team. There's only 2 times he trusted somebody else. Outside of that, it's all about Jerry and his ego. That's all I'm going to say. I'm going to leave that there. But McCarthy, he ain't coming back. Trust me, Jerry can bullshit us and blow smoke up our ass. If you guys want to believe it, some of you guys, that's fine. There's no way McCarthy's coming back. And the reason why he's saying this is because he thinks that the fans believe McCarthy's coming back. He's saying it because, hey, he wants to say he's a Super Bowl coach. And that just keeps us in contention to maybe do something more this season for McCarthy. It's a big old game by Jerry Jones. That's all I'm going to say. Any other comments from the Joneses?
It's the only one I have is directly related to some injury stuff. So
Okay, we'll wait on that. Yeah, no, I just wanted to. Yeah, let me get back to this real quick because then you got we talked about Cooper Rush.
Cooper Flush?
Yeah, Cooper Flush.
I guess we can't call him Cooper Flush.
Not this last game. Not this last game. But I will say that when you look at our running game, which has been leaned upon more ever since Cooper Rush has been in here and Rico Dowdle has gotten the starting snaps officially, right? He had 19 carries, which is more than 12 last. He had 12 last week. He had 19 carries this past week, 86 yards, averaging 4.5 yards per carry, a little bit more than he does in the regular season. My point is, he's consistent. He's averaging 4.5 yards a game this year, and we hardly used him. Even the week before this one when we lost, we used him 19 times this game on the ground. One of the main reasons why I think we didn't have as many mistakes, let's say, by the offense that we could have had. Now, Ezekiel Elliott only had 3 carries in this game for 6 yards, averaging 2 yards per carry. CeeDee Lamb had 1 carry for 1 yard. Trey Lance had 1 carry for -3 yards. That's our run game. So Rico Dowdle only got running. Now, let me say this. With 19 carries in this win against Washington for Rico Dowdle, it's only the second game this year where a running back on the Cowboys had 19 carries or more for the team. The only other time was when Rico Dowdle had 19 carries at Pittsburgh this year, which we won. Think about that. Winning,
so obviously
running the ball. Yeah.
Rico Dowdle consistently.
Or generally, combination of that. 19 times to Rico Dowdle, consistent running from him. You're going to be able to control the game better and have a chance to win better.
I feel like, and again, yes, some of those stats also just kind of reflect the fact that when you are still in the game, you can still run the ball. Yeah. When you're down 14 points, 17 points, or whatever the fuck, you're not really going to see
both those games. Of course, this game against Washington was close. The Pittsburgh game was close. So, you stay close, you actually can be more effective running the damn ball. By the way, since 2022, so the last 2.5, almost 3 years, it's only the 10th time we've given any running back at least 19 carries in a game. Only the 10th time in the last 3 years. So that shows you, under McCarthy, and then we knew that he passed a lot. I don't mind the passing. It's the running efficiency which bothers me, the way we run the ball. By the way, just in case you're wondering, because Saquon had a great game, a great game against the Rams, crazy game, right? Um, Derrick Henry, everyone says we should have gotten him. Maybe we should have, right? But here's the thing I wanted to say: Rico Dowdle is right now between both those guys,
Okay.
behind Saquon, in front of Derrick Henry when it comes to running. I say rushing success rate.
Okay.
So on first downs, he's as successful as these two guys. Second down, he's as third down on the down and distance and success on those runs. He is right there with Saquon Barkley, right behind him and right above the big man King Henry. So pretty impressive. You got to say that again. He's not breaking off. He don't have the yards, right? He's not breaking off huge runs like Saquon Barkley, and he's not getting those big hits and those big stiff arms like Derrick Henry does, right? But he's been a very consistent running back on a down by down basis. So run him, you will control the game better with Rico Dowdle. I just want to throw out some facts. These are facts. Now, Rico in the passing game, very effective this week. Last week against Washington, not much. He had 3 targets, 3 catches, 12 yards. But Cooper Rush distributed the ball. CeeDee Lamb had 12 targets, 10 catches of those targets, only 67 yards. And I'm going to say this, only 10 catches, but 67 yards, not that much. Don't let that fool you. Let me explain why. He made 2 game-changing plays that usually would go unnoticed. Remember, guys, he came back for the back to the ball for the mid-route route he ran in the middle of the field there, and it prevented an interception from Cooper Rush. He knocked the ball away. So CeeDee Lamb made a great play. You don't see in the stat sheet. He also forced the fumble after an interception. So again, CeeDee Lamb doing all those little things that maybe that don't show up on a stat sheet for a wide receiver. And now, Schoonmaker. Yes, Luke Schoonmaker. He had his best game he ever had. 4 targets, but 3 catches out of those 4 targets for 55 yards and a touchdown. Schoonmaker had 3 receptions, 55 yards, a touchdown at this win in Washington. It was only the 21st time in Cowboys franchise history that a tight end had 55 yards and a receiving touchdown while averaging at least 18 yards per reception. So getting at least 18 yards, getting 55 yards at least, and getting a receiving touchdown. Guys, 21st time in history any tight end has done that. So the fact that Schoonmaker had a chance was able to do that, a promising light maybe for the future. I don't know. We'll see what happens for him on that. The rest of the receiving situation, Jalen Tolbert had 2 drops, 4 targets, 2 drops, 2 catches, 22 yards and a touchdown. Jalen, again, nice touchdown. Nice grab, by the way, by Tolbert in that touchdown in the end zone. Came back to the ball on that Cooper Rush throw. It could have been picked. Jalen Brooks, 3 targets, 1 big catch right before halftime, 41 yards, and that gave us that field goal by Aubrey to tie it at halftime. Rico Dowdle, I already said that. Brevin Spanford, guys, very active in this game. In the last couple of games, he had 2 targets, 2 catches, 24 yards, just getting you those first downs. Jonathan Mingo, all right, who hasn't been used much, 2 targets, 1 catch for 8 yards. That's all he's got for us this year. Devontae Turpin, 1 target, 1 catch, 8 yards. And Hunter Lipke, also 1 target, 1 catch, 10 yards. It led to a 4th down and long. So I was like, we spread the ball out. A lot of our offensive players, and that's the way it has to be with our current situation. Even if we do key on CeeDee Lamb as our number 1 guy, try to open things up on defense. Just real quick, guys, not much to say, but on defense, and I'm gonna put up this guy on defense because he's leading. He's the reason why this entire defense got better. Just because Micah. 3 weeks of Micah makes you better. And he makes other guys around him, like Osa Odigizua, better. Osa, listen to this, baby. Osa has generated 10 pressures this year when double teamed. So even when Micah's not in the game or not getting double teamed, when Osa got double teamed, he still generated 10 pressures this year. That is the 6th most in the NFL. So Osa doesn't pop off the stat sheet. When you look closer, you can see some of the things he does do. He gets double teamed. He's 6th best when double teamed in generating pressure. Now, also, Osa had a quality outing against the Washington Commanders, led by this Micah Parsons defense. Osa, 77.8 pass rushing grade. That was 8th last week amongst all defensive interior tackles. And let's not forget about Mozzie Smith. One of his better games, I will say. Mozzie had a quality game against Washington. He had a 71.7 run defensive grade, which is the best he's done all year. Also was ranked 12th amongst all defensive tackles. So listen to this, baby, real quick, because, if you recall, and I know some of you guys might have forgotten this, but Washington was one of the best run teams in the league. They didn't really run too much. Jaden Daniels had the majority of their yards, but what happened to Brian Robinson and Eckler? I know they got hurt, but they got hurt. Eckler got hurt right at the last play of the game, basically, and Robinson came back in the game. So my point is, they have these three running backs, this three-headed monster. And Osa Odigizua, defensive tackle, 3-tech, and 1-tech, Mozzie Smith, starters, both had maybe their best game stopping the run. Again, run defensive grade for Mozzie, 12th amongst all defensive tackles. And Osa was in the quarterback's face, disrupting the backfield with a 77.8 pass rushing grade. So a great little 1-2 punch, again, from the interior, paused by Micah when he's rushing on the outside. It gets these guys more opportunities. So Micah Parsons had a really good game against Washington. Total of 4 tackles, helped in the run game. He had 3 quarterback hits, and don't forget, he also had 2 sacks. Add that to his numbers right there. And let me not stop with him, because he's not the only superstar. DeMarvion Overshown. Now, you know what, for the whole defense, I'll put Mike up there, because DeMarvion Overshown, baby, had a career high 5 pressures and a sack on 13 total pass rushing plays. He only rushed 13 times. He had 5 pressures and a sack. So basically 6 plays he was effective out of 13. That's fantastic. I mean, you look at this, his pass rush win rate is 38.5%.
That's fantastic.
Against the Commanders. By the way, this was his 6th straight multi-pressure game this year, and his 7th overall this season. But he's had multiple pressures. 6 in a row he's had now. But he's had, that's not Mike, I'm talking about DeMarvion Overshown, has had 6 games in a row where he's had at least 2 pressures or more on the quarterback. He keeps going. And he's had 7 all year.
Yeah, I feel like one of the few
Overshown.
things that has gotten lost in this horrible season shuffle so far is the fact that we actually do have 1 or 2 players that are playing lights out, are having good seasons, are playing really well. Just, how much are we able to appreciate or even see Overshown's good, solid, consistent play, during the games where the rest of our defense was basically not even there,
injured or out of it.
It just made it very difficult. It's nice that as the defense has gotten better, we have been able to appreciate it more.
I think also, specifically Overshown, he's something that we see as I said it the last game, and you can see it by the stats, his numbers getting better. He's a guy that is a future Pro Bowler.
Oh yeah.
Maybe not this year, but soon. You can see it. I know that was Jet Li, 44's guy, but him with Micah and maybe Marshawn Nealon eventually, maybe coming out from the Sam Williams. I don't know if he's going to be able to ever do anything again in the future, but the future pass rushing still there. You got 3 good cornerbacks, solid cornerbacks back there. Just saying, you upgrade a little bit more on defense, depending on what kind of defensive coach you have next year. You get the safeties and the linebackers here and there, some interior run stoppers. You do that, you got yourself a top 5 defense, and you got a top 10 offense. I don't know. Either way, Overshown is one of the shining lights of our season this year. Just so you guys understand, also the fact that he's had 7 overall multi-pressure games, that is the most of all off-ball linebackers. So like Mike he's a pass rushing linebacker.
Yeah.
So anybody who plays off ball, like let's say LVE style, I'm trying to remember like the Sean Lee style. Those are off ball linebackers. That's what Overshown is doing. Out of all off ball linebackers in the NFL, he has the most multi-game pressures in the NFL, not just in the Cowboys, in the whole freaking league, which is a quality player to have in a system that can utilize that efficiency and effectiveness of Overshown, which we're doing with Zimmer. As we're getting more pieces, it's even working better. But Overshown recorded the fourth fastest sack of this year, 2.47 seconds. So, congrats to Overshown having a great year. Now, when it comes to the back end of things in this last game, how did newly on the field, making his debut for the Cowboys, that star on his helmet for this year, DaRon Bland, number 26? How did he do? We didn't hear much about him, right? This entire game. In his season debut, After missing 14 weeks of practice and game with that foot fracture,
Yeah.
6 tackles for this guy right here. He only allowed 4 little receptions for a total of 27 yards.
Hmm.
So he really did not get broken at all. This man, he's back at it. The tackling is solid. We needed tackles, right?
Yes.
Jordan Lewis made some nice tackles. But Deron Bland is out there, and he made 6 tackles on his own.
Oh, hey.
You got to remember, we have missed tackles that go with 16 in a game.
I think also because of our, again, performance these last few weeks as far as actually making tackles or seeing guys wrap their arms or actually make the stop after initial contact. I think it's easy to forget that Bland is as big and powerful as he is for a corner.
Yeah, he
so
is a great
immediate
tackling
impact, you
cornerback.
definitely see that reflected in that. But
And it really helps stopping the run,
I forgot.
right?
I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, it stops the run right there. It stops anybody from getting yak yards, right? So Deron Bland, great job. 6 tackles, only allowed 4 catches of 27 yards. Jordan Lewis in the slot was fantastic against Washington. And he actually put in some Jordan Lewis played on the outside a couple of times. I will say this though. He did blow that big 86-yard touchdown. That was on Jordan Lewis on the outside. He has a he's a slot cornerback. So unfortunately, nickel corner, he should not be on the outside too much, but he did do okay except for that play. And we got to remember too, he had the Ron Bland was on a pitch count as well, so he didn't play a full game. Jordan Lewis is the guy who played on the outside. So that was an interesting little twist. He did play on the outside. Not that last play was a disaster, but most of his game, whenever Deron Bland was not in the game, on the outside was Jordan Lewis.
I do think
not Butler.
And I'm not talking about the Jordan Lewis decision, just more of the. It makes sense that that's the situation, considering that we probably are going to carefully manage Bland. For the rest of the season,
or at least his next couple of games, right? So Deron Bland put in some great work there. The Cowboys, though, listen to this. Their defense is playing great, but all these yards came at the end of the game. The Cowboys won on Sunday against Washington, at Washington, despite allowing 412 total yards. That's what the defense allowed. 412 total yards. That's a lot. So this is the first win that we allowed that many yards since last year. We got lucky at home against Detroit when they made that ineligible, and we won that game. But that game, they had over 412 yards of total offense. So this is the last time we had this much offensive yards put on us. Goes back a year ago, literally, or 11 months ago, which was, again, at least we got a win in Detroit. I'm saying the last time we allowed as many yards and got a win was against Detroit, 11 months ago, basically. Now, the last guy I want to speak about here on defense, 2 guys, actually. Chauncey Golston had an interception, number 99. Tell me that guy's not playing great right now. To me, he's the replacement of Dorrance Armstrong. Perfect. We keep this guy, number 99. He needs to stay on this team.
Yeah.
He can play inside, he can play outside, and he's a solid overall player, consistent player. Love what he did. A guy who's been surprising me is number 31, Josh Butler. Played his ass off this game against Washington. The best game he's played in his life. Listen to these numbers, baby. Week 12 against the Commanders. He had 12 total tackles. We talked about Deron Bland. He had 12 tackles a week after missing a shitload of tackles.
Yeah.
He had 12 tackles. 10 of those were solo tackles.
Way to come back.
On his own. And we've seen that happen, right? Whenever they would catch it, he'd take them right down.
Yeah.
It was a 2-yard game. Down you go. So Josh Butler did a great job. He had a sack as well. We blitzed him on a play, and he had 3 pass breakups. One was a 3rd down. Big 3rd down stop there. So, again, Josh Butler, guys, a fucking superstar game for him. And on top of that, the next day, on Monday, was his birthday. So happy birthday, celebrating that huge game he had the following day with a birthday bash. So Josh Butler looking good out there now. So that means when we get back, if we get back Trayvon Diggs this week for this game, we got ourselves a 4th guy we can kind of rely on somewhat. I don't mind Josh Butler out there for like 10, 15 plays. I just want him out there for 45, 55 plays.
Yeah,
so,
big difference. Yeah. And again, it's kind of like, for some reason, it reminds me as well of the Cooper Rush stats. Like how you compared the fact that last week he threw for like 60-something.
55 times. 55 this time, 32.
Exactly. Yeah. So,
big difference.
Big difference. Much closer to where we want him to be.
Yeah. The last part of things, baby, your favorite thing about this game, about every game, special teams.
Special teams.
Let's talk about the special player on special teams here. First of all,
It's definitely special this week.
this game against the Commanders, special teams wise, first game in Super Bowl era since 1969 or 68. First game in the Super Bowl era where there were two missed extra points, there were two kickoff return for touchdowns, and one blocked punt. Don't forget there was also, it was a blocked blocked field goal as well in this game. So they didn't even include that. But just without that blocked field goal, two missed point afters, both by Washington, by the way. Two kickoff returns for touchdowns, both by us. One of them by Cavante Turpin, and the other one by Wanye Thomas. And one blocked punt, which was by Washington. They did block Anger's punt. Or short. One of the times that our defense came up big when they got the ball in the 40 again on us.
Yeah.
So Cavante Turpin, guys, is the fifth player since the NFL merger to have a punt return touchdown, a kick return touchdown, and a 60-yard or more receiving touchdown in a season. So we talk about offensively, 60-yard touchdown or longer. He's done it.
He basically
He also had a punt return and a kickoff
touchdown.
Yeah, kickoff return, punt return, and a long touchdown on offense, 60 yards or longer. Again, guys, only five players in history have done this. By the way, in case you didn't know who, I'll tell you who. You know some of these names. Billy White Shoes Johnson back in 77. Terrence Wilkins in Indianapolis in 99. In 2002 and 2003. Monte Hall in Kansas City. Then Devin Hester did it in 2007. And then now. 2007 was the last time this was done. 2024, Cavante Turpin just did it again. So, shout outs on that side. There were 9 times in the last decade. In the last 10 years, it was only 9 times a player averaging at least 44 yards per kickoff return while returning at least 4 in a single game. It's only been 9 times that's happened. The last 2 times it happened also belong to the Cowboys and Cavante Turpin. That was mid-October when that happened last. And just so you guys know, Cavante Turpin, like I said, averaging 36.3 yards per kickoff return. He has 21 total kickoff returns, averaging 36.3 yards, number 1 in the NFL. The greatest season that Hall of Famer Devin Hester ever had in these numbers was in 2010, when he averaged 35.6 yards per kickoff on 33 returns. So again, if he keeps his average up, he will break the all-time record of kickoff return yards, per game, per kickoff return. Let's put it that way. Crazy, crazy, crazy. And again, after 3 years, this is his 3rd year, we finally got the rules. These kickoff rules are going to help great returners like Cavante Turpin. So
we finally got to see it.
Yes, I'm so happy about that. So that's the breakdown of this game. I don't have any more comments about the game. I think the rest are injuries, if I'm not mistaken. Any quick thoughts in the chat or shout-outs in the chat?
Yeah, of course. I'll stick out 04.
Hey.
Basically just saying, the Cowboys' biggest problem is that inconsistency. 1 week we kick ass on special teams, offense, defense.
It's always different areas,
It's like we never even heard of these words. So shout out, by the way, Pat Pfeiffer.
Hey!
Much love.
I hope you're feeling better, Pat. We'll see you on After Dark tonight.
Let me see.
Big shout out.
Old Dallas Cowboy just keeps putting in their rush hour.
By the way, Pat Pfeiffer, I know she was the queen last week of the Cash App. Mary Alvarez is the queen this week in the Cash App, but there is nobody in the Cash App so far this week, with really 1 day to go. That's tomorrow.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens. Any other shout outs? Quick thoughts? Oh, she's still horrible. I'm sorry, Pat. Feel better. Rest, medicine. I know she got COVID.
Oh no!
I think she got COVID. I think it's COVID. But
Feel better, Pat.
Yes, you got. What's that? What's that medicine they give?
Paxlovid.
Paxlovid. Yeah, that help you get through it faster and better and healthier. So, hope the good thing is because
I hope you have a quick.
Yeah, it's been on for a couple days already.
Turnaround.
Yeah, it needs to be quicker. I know that because of the vaccine, thank goodness, it's weakened the COVID virus from where it used to be able to kill people to it's a bad flu. So we still keeping with you here, Pat, and get better soon as you can. Now, speaking of getting better, let's talk about the Cowboy injury situation because it got a little bit better, I guess you can say. Today, we found out, and we're going to be getting a wide receiver back. Our number 2 wide receiver, guys. And in case you forgot who he is already.
Yeah. Sure shit did, considering the last time we saw him was basically in the
Week
dinosaur
2.
times.
Yeah. Brandon Cooks, guys. The Cowboys officially today activated Brandon Cooks. He has not played since week 4 after that injury. He had arthroscopic knee surgery in New York following that game against the Giants. And he got hurt in that game. Had surgery, in New York.
Yeah.
And then, was going to be back a couple weeks, whatever, had an infection flare up. Same doctor Dak uses. So it's just unfortunate. And that infection put him on IR and put him out for basically 6-7 weeks already, right? No, like 10 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
So 9 weeks he's been out. Finally coming back. That infection required treatment. That's why you saw Brandon Cooks just out. Last week they said he might be in. Cowboys held him out. Now our number 2 guy, our number 2 receiver behind CeeDee Lamb is not Tolbert. Our number 2 guy is number 3, Brandon Cooks. Tolbert, number 4. You got, Brooks. You got, Jalen Brooks. You got, of course, Devontae Turpin. So we got a nice, we also got Mingo. That's our 6 guys I'm naming you right there at receiver. So we are definitely getting back to healthier at receiver, wide receiver. Now, unfortunately, there's some bad news here when it comes to updates. 2 guys went on the injured reserve. Kalen Carson, the rookie, guys. The guy who was out there, number 21. He didn't play last week. He's active the last couple of weeks. He didn't play at all. We're like, why is Josh Butler in there? I don't know. But right now, Kalen Carson, he is going to miss the next 4 weeks at the very least. So, rookie Kalen Carson on injured reserve. Not only that, but Austin Richards, last year's 4th-round pick, also placed on IR. Now, that's surprising. He came in there number 76, played for Guyton a little bit towards the end of the game, and played well the week before that when Guyton got hurt. But this time around, Austin Richards came out of this game, unfortunately injured, to a point where he has to miss at least 4 games on injured reserve. Now, Stephen Jones did speak on this, I think today.
Yeah, he did.
What happened? Why is Austin Richards all of a sudden out for 4 weeks? All of a sudden, I don't even know what the injury was.
Well, Stephen Jones confirmed that Austin Richards has a high ankle sprain.
Those take you out, as we know with Micah, at least 4 or 5 weeks.
He also did say, and again, since he was talking about like the injury situation, he mentioned what you just said, which one of the positives we were expecting to have Brandon Cooks and Tyler Smith possibly playing and active this Thanksgiving Day.
Again, Tyler Smith. We'll talk about Tyler Smith in a minute, but it looks like they're hoping. I mean, we know Brandon Cooks will be active. Yeah. He's on the 53-man roster.
And just so you get a sense of where they were hoping they were at, or where they thought they were at, just like 24 hours ago, at the time, Trayvon Diggs hadn't even been ruled out. I'm just saying, like Steven had said, oh, he might have a chance. And I basically just said it's more of a long shot for Zach Martin and Ferguson.
Yeah.
Zach Martin, we already knew.
Yeah, I mean, well, no. Ferguson, we knew he was going to be out, and Zach Martin was going to be tough. So, anyways, now, yes, we had an open, because of these 2 moves now, we have 2 open spots on our roster, right? Kalen Carson, Austin Richards out of the 53-man roster. You put Brandon Cooks in, and you have 1 more spot open. Who was put from the practice squad to our 53-man roster? Princeton Fant. Princeton Fant now on the 53-man roster to be able to play that fullback, inline, H-back kind of tight end blocking role. But he will give you, some good special teams play and some good blocking. And, if needed, I think he's number 85. You might see him out there once in a while blocking, most of the time blocking. Princeton Fant, part of the 53-man roster, along with Brandon Cooks, after we took off 2 guys, Kalen Carson and Austin Richards. Now, for this game tomorrow, we have 2 practice squad elevations. The second elevation for cornerback, Keemon Hall. He had one last week. I think he's number 41. He gets it in there again. He has 1 more left for him. And Andrew Booth, remember him, baby? Andrew Booth, who was on our 53-man roster. We cut him, picked him back up, and now he's a practice squad guy now. He's also getting elevated. So it looks like we got 2 cornerbacks getting elevated for this game, which means what's going on with injuries? If we're elevating 2 corners, what's the issue? We just talked about how great Bland did and pitch count and all. Butler, we have, Jordan Lewis played great. Is Trayvon coming back? It feels like he's not with these kind of moves, right?
That would be my first suspicion.
Yeah. So that's a little bit strange there on that side of things. And again, using up all these elevations, you won't be able to use them anymore. Like some of these guys, if you use too many of these guys in this situation. So going to McCarthy kind of updated us this week on the practice. It was a quick practice this week. Zach Martin was not really practicing this week, guys. All right, he was in a rehab group, and he was there with Eric Kendricks this week. Kendricks, a linebacker, who's been kind of injured the whole year. Tyler Smith, pretty much going to take the whole practice this week. So that's a good, like you said, baby, when it came to Stephen Jones, sounds good for Tyler Smith playing this week. And according to McCarthy, this is like a quick turnaround and all. Trayvon Diggs is on the field working this week. But will he play? With these cornerbacks being elevated, the answer feels like no. So the injury report came out today. Jake Ferguson, tight end, as we know, out for this game with a concussion. His replacement is going to be Luke Schoonmaker, number 86, who had the game of his career last week, which means also more snaps for Brevin Spanford, more snaps for Princeton Fant. So you're seeing why we're getting, why we got Princeton Fant in the 53. We need to get more tight end usage, the fullback blocking H-line kind of H-back kind of inline blocker. We need that kind of guy. That's what Princeton Fant's going to do. So again, no Jake Ferguson. Schoonmaker's going to start. Zach Martin, guys, has been ruled out for the game. No Zach Martin. And we're going to talk about that a little later. Who is it? What does that mean? Who's going to be in there? I'll talk about it in a minute. Also, those are the only two guys we have out for this game. All right. And unfortunately, two starters on offense: Jake Ferguson and Zach Martin. Marshawn Nealon, the rookie, edge rusher. He played last week, number 94. He had a pretty good game. Got banged up, and Marshawn Nealon had a knee. It's funny. Nealon had a knee injury. He did not practice all week, and he was ruled as doubtful. So I know they got two guys out and one doubtful.
Yeah.
Doubtful means out. So no one ever plays on the doubtful tag. I think one player in 3 years, and we talked about this last week. We had a doubtful player on our team.
Doubtful is out.
Yeah. So 3 guys really are out: Zach Martin, Jake Ferguson on offense, and then Marshawn Nealon, who's basically right now starting for Sam Williams and DeMarcus Lawrence. So he's out as well. So we're down to Chauncey Golston out there, it sounds like. The questionable guys, all right? Those are the 2 outs and a doubtful. The questionable guys: Trayvon Diggs with a groin and a knee issue, questionable. Eric Kendricks with the groin and shoulder, questionable. Nick Vigil with the foot, also questionable. And just so you guys know, Nick Vigil was upgraded to limited today, so that's a good sign for him to play. Kendricks did not practice the entire week, but he's older. He was getting a vet day. We hope. We need his linebacker skills in there. And Trayvon Diggs was upgraded to limited, so it looks good for him too. I'm going to say Trayvon Diggs, Nick Vigil, even though they're questionable, they seem to prime more to play. While I would say, if I had to guess on Eric Kendricks, I think he'll play too, but he's more they all should play. But I would not be surprised if 1 or 2 of these guys did not make it on the field against the Giants on Thanksgiving. We'll have to wait and see. I also wanted to say that 2 guys were put on injury reserve, and that's, as we know, Austin Richards, who was out all week in practice with a high ankle sprain, which we know now from Stephen Jones. And then the other guy who was put there was Kalen Carson. His injury was a shoulder injury. He must have re-aggravated it because he had that shoulder injury for a little bit. Was good to go. Didn't play. Maybe special teams. Got injured again. He had not practiced. Actually got injured in practice on Wednesday. I'm sorry, on Tuesday. And on Wednesday, today, he was put on the injury reserve, out for 4 games.
That
with
sucks.
The shoulder re-aggravation. So that's unfortunate. By the way, good news, though. Deron Bland, full go at practice all week. He has no game time designation. So he's good to go for this game. Brandon Cooks with the knee. Full practice today. Limited all week, but full practice. He's good to go for this game. Great news for Brandon Cooks. Tyler Guyton with the shoulder. Full practice all week. Good to go. Chuma Edoga. He had a toe injury. He was on the IR. Full practice all week. He has no status holding him back right now. Jordan Lewis with the neck, full practice, good to go. Hunter Lipke with the calf, full practice, good to go. Cooper Rush had a little bang up there with his knee, limited until today, full practice, good to go. And Tyler Smith with the ankle and the knee, limited all week until today, full practice, good to go. So we get Tyler Smith back, Brandon Cooks back. All right. Healthy Tyler Guyton, healthy Deron Bland. Some good upgrades for this Cowboy team. Hopefully we get Kendricks in there. Hopefully we get Trayvon Diggs in there.
Yeah.
Maybe Nick Vigil for some special team snaps. I'll say one other name, though, baby. Another guy that is on the injured list, it's not, he's 100% good to go, is C.D. Lamb.
Yeah.
It's a back and a foot issue, limited all week, had a full practice today, and he spoke right after the practice, maybe about his injury situation being, not on the injury report, which is great news. What did he say about playing out this year? Letting this year, it's over, his season's over, whatever. He's injured. What did he say about this whole situation, baby, after practice?
He said, quote, "I'm banged up. I'm not even going to lie to you. I'm willing to do whatever, to go out there and do whatever to have my presence felt. I'm all for the team winning, as you can tell. This is definitely one of the toughest years for me body-wise, but that ain't stopping nothing, that's for sure." So,
Yeah.
again, on top of it being such a rough year, just on a Cowboys side of things, CeeDee Lamb coming out there saying, "Hey, this is my toughest physical year," which, by the way, if you've been keeping track, that we are 2 for 2 on the contracts side of
Yeah.
things, leading to players not playing the greatest for whatever the reason. Mainly to do with physical bodily injury, huh? So, again, I'm honestly, even just from a football perspective, not surprised to see Lamb is feeling it even more so this season between our suspect offensive line those first few weeks.
Play calling, some inability to kind of connect with Dak. Maybe he's missing that. That's Jerry Jones' side
And
of
then
things.
of course, need
Injury.
for CD to step up in the absence of Dak,
Right, yeah.
like all those things. Like we saw him.
Yeah.
He's taking it very seriously, trying to help this team win and lead
Yeah.
this team.
So
So
he ain't tanking. He ain't stopping. He's just gonna keep going, guys.
Yeah.
And honestly, even though I will say, there's been a lot of times CeeDee Lamb's been a little quitter on that field, a little bitch, a little diva.
I think
At least he's
found
showing. At least
something
he's
this
showing his
year
heart.
internally. That's what I'm
Yeah, I
saying.
think
that
this horrible season has really showed them they better. It's time to play up to your abilities, not
I
down.
think
Be a leader.
I think that compared to previous seasons and this season, I do think we're seeing the molding of CeeDee Lamb going from this young kind of, I don't want to say
Superstar.
reckless, but just like,
Yeah.
like just like give me the ball, do this, do that. Like this is a man who understands that in order to get what he wants, it has to be everything all around
Has to be the
encompassing.
team,
Yes.
and he has to be the leader. And I think that's one of the things he kind of learned
The
this
team
year.
needs him to be a one.
Yep. Now, let's finish this up with a quick breakdown of the Giants. And I mean, I don't know if you have anything more, but a quick breakdown of the Giants. And this is going to be, it's just interesting to me. It's just,
Break down those fourth stringers, baby.
Well, I mean, listen, we got third stringers, so
Hey.
they got fourth stringers. But I want to say it like this. First, I want to I'm going to cover our faces. I want to put up what the Giants really are. They're, as we call them, the Giants. They're tiny, trash, all the different, all different logos. We can make fun of them. Fuck the Giants. Now, let's talk about the Giants real quick. Former Broncos tight end Greg Dulcich was claimed off of waivers by the Giants earlier this week. A new start for him. The Giants need all the help they can get, obviously. Especially on defense, they lost one of their star pass rushers, Azeez Ojulari. He was dealing with a painful toe injury earlier, after his game last week. He was put onto IR yesterday. He had 6 sacks in 10 games for the Giants this year, which is not bad. But Barry could have had more. Now, the Giants head coach, Brian Dable, he said he's, quote, hopeful that Tommy DeVito, Daniel Jones is with Minnesota now. So, who's their quarterback? Not Danny DeVito. Tommy DeVito. Tommy DeVito is going to, again, was banged up and hurt in that game against, who did they play? Was it I forgot who they played. The Eagles? I don't know who they played last week, but it wasn't the Eagles, but the Bengals maybe? I don't know. He was banged up bad. But Dable said that, he's hopeful he's going to play against the Cowboys on Thanksgiving. Dable said he did not speak with the training staff, but anticipates that DeVito will be ready to go. And DeVito himself has told people he's ready to play. And then today we heard that Tommy DeVito is a, quote, long shot to play on Thursday against the Cowboys. So no Daniel Jones. Now Tommy DeVito is a long shot all of a sudden to play against the Cowboys on Thursday because of a forearm injury.
Jeez.
So Drew Lock, who was starting, I think, in Seattle and Denver, shitty years that he's had there. He's in line to make his first start of the season for the Giants. And the backup will be Tim Boyle. Oh, Boyle. They got some problems over there in New York. So, again, we got our problems. We got Cooper Rush and Trey Lance. They got bigger problems. They don't even have Tommy DeVito. They got to start Drew Lock and have Tim Boyle backing them up. That's all they got. That's the Giants, quarterback situation. Even worse than us. Now,
there's a team that's laying down and giving up.
They're the ones that they're trying to get that first pick. That's why I said, that's why I said they will beat the Raiders are trying to get a quarterback. The Giants are done.
Yeah.
They're just quitting. So they're tanking. So out of this game, guys, right now, we know Aziz Ojulari was put on IR. We have Amon Watts, defensive line with a shoulder injury, out for this game. We have Jermaine Olamanur, who, by the way, he's the starting offensive lineman for them. I think the starting tackle for them. He is out for this game. Whoever's the quarterback, you're gonna see a lot of Micah. And those are the two guys that are out for this game. The questionable guys, you got Tay Banks, defensive back with a rib injury, limited all week, questionable. And Tommy DeVito, who with the right forearm injury, he got hurt. It looks like he got hurt on Tuesday. It looks like he got hurt in practice, was limited in practice, did not practice today. They said this injury is too fresh. He probably will not play against the Cowboys. He's a questionable guy, but he might be more like doubtful, even though they listed him as questionable.
Yeah, that short turnaround week screwed all of us over in some ways.
And the Giants only held walkthroughs all 3 days. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, they held the walkthroughs. So these guys that are held out of practice through walkthroughs for the Giants.
Yep.
So they're in pretty bad shape as well. They really didn't have good players, and now they have injured players.
Yeah.
How bad?
Not bad. I agree. CeeDee Lamb is great. But Seabass actually has a question.
Yeah.
Saying, MCF, who was the quarterback for the Broncos the year that we got smoked by them?
Oh, I remember. Oh, my goodness. Oh, what's his name? Oh, my goodness.
Wasn't it the guy that
Black quarterback? No, black quarterback. Formerly I think he was of the Colts for a little bit. What's his name? Why can't I remember his name? Damn it. You have to. Yeah, I mean, someone could look it up. You probably will find it in a second. But yeah, it's. I think it was that. Oh man, I forgot his name. The guy from the Colts. Man, I forgot his name.
Dobbs?
No, it wasn't Dobbs. That was from the Cardinals that beat us with Dobbs last year, who went to Vikings and Browns. He was with the Browns before that. But it wasn't. That wasn't him. It was Colts guy. He was a great backup, but he's a very good backup, and he's a shitty starter.
Was it Johnson?
I don't know. I'm just gonna look it up.
No, go ahead.
I mean,
so yeah, I think I got before said Teddy.
Teddy, was it Bridgewater? It might have been Bridgewater.
Bridgewater?
I think it was Bridgewater. Hold on.
Oh, that's right. Wasn't he? Did he go to the Vikings?
He started with the Vikings.
Got
hurt there, and he went a lot of places. Hold on.
Sorry, because when you mentioned the Colts, no offense, but first thing I thought of, I'm like, I didn't think Andrew Luck played for Denver, but okay.
Here. Teddy Bridgewater.
It was Bridgewater? Yep. All right.
Yep.
So thank you so much, Aztec. I see MF Doom saying Bridgewater
there
as
you
well.
Go.
So
yep.
thank you both for that info. And
so again,
that,
answers the question.
all of our memories there, Mr. Seabass. Thank you for that.
There you go. See, we go the extra mile. Anyways, look. This is interesting to me because again, we talked about DeVito. Their star receiver, who's the rookie, Malik Neighbors. A lot of things about him being a top 10 pick. Is he maybe too diva? He's more diva than CD is right now. So he was not. Listen to this, guys. In the first half of the Giants game last week, he was not targeted once. He's starting to blow up. He said, "quote I go out there first, second quarter, I don't get the ball. I start getting targeted at the end. I mean, I can't do nothing. I start getting the ball when it's 30-0. What do you want me to do?" End quote.
I mean, he scored 30 points, obviously.
Well, I mean, but that's the same point we talked about, CD.
So
there's so much you can do when the team sucks. And so he was asked, why were you ignored in the first half? He goes, quote, I don't know. Talk to Dabs, meaning the head coach, Brian Dable. Go talk to Dabs. Talk to Dabs. They know why. They come up to me asking what plays I want. I don't know. He's frustrated with his coaching staff. There's no way Brian Dable's going to stay on there too much longer after this year's over. Also, he was asked about the Giants' problems on offense. And listen to what he said. Obviously, it ain't the quarterback. Same outcome when we had Daniel Jones at quarterback. Take a look. Take a good look. It ain't the quarterback. I don't know what it is, but everyone knows better than me. End quote. Wow. So again, a lot of interesting stuff come out of New York in the Giants facility, which is definitely not on the good side. Man, you guys got to watch that Hard Knocks off season. Oh, it's all about the Giants, and it's literally the implosion that you hear them talking about. If it happens, oh boy, heads are going to roll. It's literally happening as we speak right now. They come to Dallas on Thanksgiving to beat the Turkeys, hopefully. Um, Brian Dable said he spoke to wide receiver Malik Neighbors, the rookie. He wants to keep the conversation private. But he did say, quote, he's a very competitive individual. You want to get the ball in his hands, and I've got to do a better job of getting the ball in his hands early. Almost admitting that it's the head coach's fault that they're not getting any plays put in for Malik Neighbors, which could be very frustrating for a top guy in the draft,
Yeah.
right? A top superstar, supposed to be a superstar guy in the draft. So, what are some of the matchups and keys for this Thanksgiving battle tomorrow? Some guys, I guess I would say more situations to keep an eye on. So let's start off with, I think one of the keys to this game, baby, and you're gonna love this. Devontae Turpin, baby. That's why he's on my front cover.
Yeah.
Devontae Turpin against the Giants special teams. For the second consecutive week in a row, Devontae Turpin has had a 60-yard or longer explosive play that resulted in a touchdown. In week 11, he had a 64-yard touchdown catch against the Texans. Again, we need him on offense more often. Not just against the Giants special teams. We need him on offense as well. He had a 64-yard touchdown against the Texans in week 11. Then he followed up with that 99-yard kickoff return against the Commanders, that little spin move for the TD. And listen, we all know, the whole world knows Devontae Turpin. He's better known as one of the league's most explosive returnmen in the league. But I just want to say something, guys. Put him in against the Giants on offense. Put him in on our offense against the Giants defense. And you give him the ball. When he gets that ball in his hands, he will create. He will make the Giants miss, and he will make some big plays for us. Explosive plays. I would love to see that continue this week against the Giants. We got to be smart about that.
Mm-hmm.
But we can't do that without Cooper Rush throwing the ball to him properly, right? So how is Cooper Rush going to stack up against this Giants secondary? He's coming off maybe his most efficient and most productive game he's ever had against the Commanders with the Cowboys. He has somehow managed to spark what was basically a dead offense, it still kind of is, into at least somewhat competitive. And it's more about the way I think McCarthy's using Cooper Rush and kind of the base level stuff we're doing with more running plays, which is helping the offense in some ways. So I think Cooper Rush with the ground game getting worked in, and then you mix in the aerial attack and you give Cooper Rush easier looks, which Dak wishes he would have had. More runs by the running backs, right? When he was in there. So more runs. We were forced to go more on the ground and go a little bit away from the aerial attack. But Cooper Rush, with the way the game plan is going, has breathed new game and new air into this McCarthy offense. And he's going to continue to try to look for success against a very, very weak New York Giants secondary. Very bad. You know, they allowed the Buccaneers. Oh, that's what they played, the Buccaneers last week. They allowed the Buccaneers to score 30 points and put up a total of 450 yards against them. Don't be surprised if Cooper Rush has a similar game as he had this week against the Commanders. He put up, 240? 75% completion percentage, 240 yards, and 2 touchdowns. So look for, he's not going to have 400 yards. But look for Cooper Rush to get up there in the 250 range, possibly. You know, if we even need to. Maybe we just run a lot on these guys. I don't know. Either way, you know, some of the main guys in this situation for the Cowboy offense is going to be, you know, guys getting the ball in playmakers' hands. CeeDee Lamb, Brandon Cooks, Devontae Turpin, and Cooper Rush and McCarthy kind of staying in that game plan that is at least not a high scoring offense, but a productive, a little more efficient offense than we've had in previous Cooper Rush kind of portions of our season. The last big thing. You can't have any of this on offense, guys, without blocking. Tyler Smith's going to be in this game, it sounds like. Guyton's in this game. Cooper Beebe in this game. Terrence Steele. All of a sudden, we have 4 out of our 5 starters back on this field. But no Zach Martin. He's gone. So that's going to be one of the keys I'm watching here.
And that short turnaround time did him no favors,
No favors.
unfortunately.
It's going to give him a nice favor here, a 12 days break. But right now, he's out of this game. So we got to figure out what's going to happen. So here's the thing, baby. The Cowboys' interior offensive line versus their star interior defensive tackle, Dexter Lawrence. Yeah, there's another consecutive week in a row. We could have been without both of our guards. We're only going to be without Zach Martin. I'll explain that in a minute. But who came in to replace both these guys last week? TJ Bass and Brock Hoffman. And they performed pretty damn well last week against a good Washington defensive front. This week, though, whoever's going to be in that spot for Zach Martin is going to have their hands full. They have they may even, I wouldn't even say as a whole, Washington's better. But as individuals, I know you got Deron Payne over there, but you got Dexter Lawrence going to create issues for the Cowboys. Could create issues with a young, inexperienced guy like Cooper Beebe. And whoever's going to be playing to the right of him, with no Zach Martin. So when I look at this, the Giants have all-pro stud defensive tackle Dexter Lawrence. He's arguably the best interior defensive lineman, not just on the Giants, but in the entire league right now. So Dexter Lawrence, maybe even better than Deron Payne. So this is going to give, and our guys handle them against this Washington better defensive front. Can this offensive team with now another starter back, can we do the same kind of way we did last week against just one good player rather than 3 or 4 good players on the defense? We got to do better. I feel we will do similar that we did against Washington. We're doing this against the Giants defensive front line. Right now, we'll say this. Dexter Lawrence, he's leading the NFL among all defensive tackles in the NFL with 10 quarterback sacks. Again, guys, imagine like Mozzie Smith with 10 sacks. Osa with 10 sacks. That's what Dexter Lawrence is doing. Those guys inside don't get that many sacks. Dexter Lawrence is dangerous. So he's a guy you got to keep an eye on this entire game. And when he's up against Tyler Smith and Cooper Beebe, I'm cool with that. If he's up against Cooper Beebe, he gets a little help from Rico Dowdle or Zeke in the backfield, the blocking. I'm cool with that. My problem is who's going to play that right guard spot. And the word I'm getting, it's going to be TJ Bass. TJ Bass is very important in this. Let me explain why. Because right now, guys, again, Dexter Lawrence, like I said, leading all defensive tackles with 10 sacks from the inside, from the defensive tackle spot. With 10. Going against backup TJ, an undrafted player last year, TJ Bass. Listen to this. This last week against the Washington Commanders and Deron Payne, he allowed just 5 pressures. I'm sorry, not against Washington. This is in the whole season when he's had to play. He's allowed 5 pressures the entire year and only allowed 1 sack on 138 pass blocking snaps this year. That is fantastic. Now, that's not Zach Martin, but that's fantastic for an undrafted TJ Bass. I think TJ Bass takes over this spot and is able to at least slow down Dexter Lawrence with help from Terrence Steele on his right, a little help from Cooper Beebe with a running back, an inline Princeton Fant, inline blocker at tight end, kind of play that fullback or Lipke. You get a lot of help in there. So we only got one spot to worry about in a big way. Of course, it's Tyler Guyton. You got to worry about him. But the thing is, TJ Bass should be fine to handle Dexter Lawrence with the help around him. Let me just explain what this means. 5 pressures, 1 sack on 138 pass. These are not snaps. These are pass blocking snaps. That translates to him. Listen to this, guys. He only allows a pressure rate of 3.6% of the time. That's the second lowest among qualified left guards in the NFL. That is incredible. So basically, he's the second best offensive guard in the NFL when it comes to allowing pressure on the quarterback. TJ Bass, the future. Once Zach Martin is gone? Question mark. Looks like it. Looks like they're priming him for that. And looks like he's actually playing up to that as well. So TJ Bass in this game, number 66, keep an eye on him. One of my major guys to watch and matchups to watch. So listen, this is a general thing. I'm done. But a general kind of view. Not really have anything. Listen, there's nothing really to talk about when it comes. Malik Neighbors, he's pissed. The Giants' offense is trash. Offensive line is banged up and hurt. They got their third string quarterback. Nothing to talk about their offense. They got nothing. I mean, nothing. Ray Barkley. They're on their 5th string tight end. I'm just saying they have nothing on offense. So the key on defense is like everyone. Everyone's the key on defense. Listen, the key, Trayvon Diggs, he going to play? If he plays, a lockdown in the back end. Deron Bland, he's good to go. Jordan Lewis, good to go. Then you got the pass rushing side, which is Micah Parsons. With a broken offensive line for the Giants, Micah Parsons is the key here. He's going to get the pressure. we can slow down their little bit of running game they're gonna have. We're gonna get pressure on Micah. Game over. So our defense versus their offense, they shouldn't get much. They should not get much. And again, we talked about Marvin Overshone. Another guy's gonna apply pressure and help. So I'm looking forward to it. The only guy I kind of hope we have on defense on top of Trayvon Diggs is Eric Kendricks, because we're missing Nick Vigil as well. The thing we did not move up or elevate any linebackers tells me we're okay at linebacker and Kendricks will play. That's the hope. It may worries me a little more about Trayvon Diggs, although I'm hearing he's going to play.
I mean,
So
we've already seen some interesting schemes and scenarios. So,
yeah,
what's another one?
yeah. I mean, listen, Zimmer has to work with what he's got. No matter what the situation is, that's football. That's life. That's the way it goes. Micah leads this defense, and he will lead whoever's the quarterback. Throw some interceptions to Deron Bland's and Jordan Lewis's, and Trayvon Diggs is in the game. You know what I mean? So we'll see what happens. Micah should be in the quarterback's face all game, and not really many matchups. Just Dallas defense go out there and destroy the Giants. Destroy those Giants. Those tiny trash Giants. Anyways, I'm done talking. I'm gonna lose my voice. I have to save it for about an hour from now when we do some after dark fun here. If you guys know, you know. If you don't know, you're missing out. But you got to be up for the late night if you want to be part of this. We do have a big shout out from Brandon J. $2 holler, the only drop of the night. I appreciate you guys though hanging around, listening to our Cowboy passion for this team, our fan passion for this team, and thank you guys for hanging in there for the show. I'm gonna take some of these pictures off, maybe do some shout outs, some final shout outs, and some final comments from the chat.
Of course. First of all, have a great night, Pat Pfeiffer. Hope you're feeling better. Take it
Yes.
easy. Always go Cowboys.
I'll say maybe we'll see you if you want to sleep. I get you, but if not, we'll see you on the after dark sessions.
So Rolando Rodriguez, much love, and he asked, do you know what the Cowboys are wearing?
Yes, Cowboys are wearing their throwbacks. They're
Okay,
those 1960s throwbacks.
My favorite.
The way they always wear them every Thanksgiving game. They used to wear them all the time during Romo years, and then the NFL made them switch to only one helmet. So now the Cowboys they can't use that silver. They just don't like to use that silver with the old school look. They got to use the white helmets with the star without the white border on it. So it's going to be basically a blue star on the white helmet and the all blue uniform, the blue tops, the navy tops with the white on the shoulders. You've seen us wear it. You guys seen it before. They use it once a year, Thanksgivings. Since a couple years ago when they allowed the teams to have 2 or 3 alternate helmets. Now the Cowboys have their silver and they have their white. They use that white helmet also during the Color Rush games where we're dressed in full white. They use those throwback helmets.
So, let me see here. GM, Scott Zilla, MF Doom. And yeah, the Tyler Guyton situation, again, I'm really hoping it is just a rookie pains.
Yeah, I mean,
guy.
it's a rookie. He's still a rookie. Give him some time. He'll get there. I hope.
I really hope so. I believe he will, but I hope so too. So, Mr. C. Bass.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he's saying Lamb vouch for McCarthy. That's crazy, and I did not see that coming.
Yeah.
Yeah, hey, I mean, I guess he hasn't lost a team. At least not all of it.
It's not publicly.
So
we see it, though.
Let me see, rolling back here a little bit more. We have Asik Aguilar 04, Matt Batten, much love, JP. We have Lil Dallas Cowboy.
Which JP? That's not the Saints JP.
No. It's JAY, bunch of Y's and then P. So I'm just rolling back. It looks like, at least on my side, I shout out everybody here.
I think Rico Dowdle has the most rushing yards tomorrow. GM, just saying. Now, on that note, guys, thank you again. A little hour and a half stream. We'll be back tomorrow. Do our best to get this game on for you guys and watch it. We'll probably have to be doing this from a different location tomorrow, so keep that in mind. And even the wife might not be there for the whole thing. We will try our best, and I will definitely try our best. As long as family gets here in time and we get to do the stuff we need to do, we should be good to be able to stream from where we need to go to stream through. Anyways, guys, thank you for being here with us. Everybody hit the like, subscribe, notification bell, all that good shit. And we'll be back here in basically 12 hours? No, 14 hours live for the game in a different place. We'll see how this goes. If we can't do it, then you won't see us. We'll leave a post and let you know that we just couldn't get there in time. But either way, hopefully we'll be able to do this and finish out the week. Right now, we might have to go like 2 weeks, I think, because right now we have literally 2 people tied for 1 spot on the entire board. On that note, we're gonna get on out of here, I guess. And baby, why do we do this here on My Cowboys Family for almost 7.5 years?
You already know it's that navy blue, that silver too, and that star over everything.
Win, lose, or draw, good, bad, or ugly, here in MCF, and you see it on my shirt. It's always about that star over everything, over MCF, over everything, over the coaches, the owners, the players, everything. Here on My Cowboys Family for almost 7.5 years, going into our 8th year, 8th season on YouTube. Never forget the number one thing here, now, and forever. As always, go Cowboys. Next year, let's get that 6 and beyond. You know what I mean? And by the way, speaking of winners, shout out to the sponsor of the week, John Luna, who's got 3 out of the 4 spots on the board. Sponsor of the week, the gifting champion. And of course, you can see him there as the boss of the stream, John Luna Domination. But don't forget, there's also a Cash App winner. And this week was a Cash App queen. Matt Pfeiffer had it last week. She gave the reins, the crown, to Mary Alvarez, repping that star of everything as our Cash App queen for the week. Thank you. And Thanksgiving to all of you. Happy Thanksgiving to all of you. Hours away. Actually here already, basically on 2 out of 3 coasts. Happy Thanksgiving. We're going to have our Thanksgiving special on After Dark in another hour and a half or so. So stay tuned for that for those that know. On that note, thank you guys for dropping your knowledge in the chat all night long. Thank you for dropping the love from above, Mr. Brandon J. and Skeptical Fan. And baby, as we clock out, drop out for the night, relock and reload for a fun, hopefully Thanksgiving day and weekend. What do we got to do before we drop out of here and celebrate, hopefully, a victory and some Thanksgiving dinner?
We gotta drop the beat.
Oh, yeah. That beat's officially dropped, and it's a wrap right here on My Cowboys. All right. We could be anywhere you're here with us. Thank you, guys, and I appreciate every single one of you guys. Also, don't forget, on the weekly, we definitely check in a couple times and try to give you all the news, info, and updates on our Dallas Cowboys. You got it tonight on another MCF Cowboys chat, baby. You know how this goes. This tonight was the 2024 Week 13 Thanksgiving Day review. You see, Meet the Mets right there with the red beard. It looks like Meet the Mets. The Giant fans are crying this year, crying a couple extra tears than we are. Let's be honest. So at least we got that in these mother efforts. Let's see what the Cowboys can do on Thanksgiving, celebrating maybe a giant turkey. Here in MCF, it's about that navy blue, that silver too, and that star over everything. Never ever forget the number one thing right here for My Cowboys Family. You guys in the house, can't do this without you all. Thank you all. Hit that like button, hit subscribe, hit that notification bell. And of course, when you hit the notification bell, put it to all videos, and as well on top of that, jump in the Discord for some back and forth on football 24/7, 365. We got all the social media stuff, whether it's X, Twitter, all that good stuff at My Cowboys Family, and right here. And MCF guys, we'll see you again tomorrow. Stay safe, have fun with your family and friends, and let's get ready for some Cowboy football. Dinner time, Thanksgiving, and let's make those Giants a giant turkey tomorrow. Have a good night, stay safe, peace out, and never ever forget, we're Cowboys.
Monk on the beat. Monk on the beat.